What does that look like? I mean, especially on the essential oil side to complement this sort of journey and these other treatments people are undergoing. What kind of things have you used or recommended?
Well, there's numerous essential oils from good, healthy, peer-reviewed studies that shows that it can be beneficial for people with cancer. From a practical standpoint, we see the use, and we do testing for each individual, so we don't just have a set protocol here. Everybody who has this type of cancer use this. We don't do that. But from a practical standpoint, the standbys for cancer are going to be the frankincense, the myrrh, the lemongrass, the copaiba, the thyme, the German chamomile, oregano. Those are the typical ones. We're finding some of the aldehyde oils like cinnamon to be also effective, I think through a completely different mechanism. And, synergistically using different oils and synergistically linking oils with different nutraceuticals have extreme beneficial effect on the body. And of course, everybody's different.
And can you define nutraceutical as well for people unfamiliar with that term?
So a nutraceutical would be the use of a vitamin or an herb from a medicinal purpose. So instead of a pharmaceutical, you're using more of a natural pharmaceutical like a curcumin or a echinacea or a golden seal or a vitamin C. Those would be considered a nutraceutical approach.
Yeah. Well, and I love that synergistic approach. I mean, that's really what makes essential oils, I think, so powerful and so amazing to incorporate into any sort of health journey someone's going on is that synergistic property, adding an essential oil to the vitamins or the therapies or whatever you're doing can really amplify those effects in such amazing ways. Now, you mentioned that you would sort of test the individual for certain essential oils that could complement their therapies. What kind of testing do you do for that?
Well, we do kinesiology testing in our office. But as a patient who's trying to do things on their own, they can certainly test by see their body's response to things. I caution people about just sticking to one protocol that they might have read on the internet or something, to be careful of that, because everybody's different, and especially when we see when people get a diagnosis of cancer, all their friends, very well-meaning, trying to be helpful, will, send them some product or some supplement or give them information on something that their friend's aunt's brother's wife,
right.
This helped their cancer.
It can be so overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
If the person actually took all those things, it can be overwhelming to that individual's liver.
Right.
So you do have to be careful not to take too many things. Remember, anything that you absorb, your body has to detoxify. And too much of a good thing can also be a bad thing. So you don't want to overwhelm somebody's liver, especially if they have cancer, when we're trying to kill cancer cells, and your body's going to have to get rid of the dead tissue and such from that too. So
right. Do you know much about the effects of lemon essential oil with supporting the liver during that detoxification process?
Yeah, that can be a support. So when we look at detox pathways from our perspective, that's where we do genetic testing, because there's specific genes that really are the drivers of all your cytochrome P450 pathways, your PON pathways, your NAT pathways. And if a person has defects on those pathways, they're going to have a much more difficult time detoxifying what detoxifies through that pathway. And then there's specific, so you asked about testing. We use genetic testing a lot for recommendation of nutrition and essential oil as well, because defects on specific pathways, then you want to try to support those pathways. You can't change that genetic, structure that you're born with, those defects, but you can, now I know that I have this defect, I want to support that pathway. And so we try to get real specific with the detox pathways and not use like box detox type protocols. But there are some general things. The limonene products, essential oils are good for liver detox pathways. Typically the cytochrome P450 pathways, if I recall.